Alright, so I reloaded my titanium white. Titanium white dries out a little slower than a lot of mixtures, so I tend to put a whole lot on there. Also, since I didn't use these for my background, I may actually use part of them for my roses. So this was where I'm gonna mix my rose. It's gonna be a lot, so I don't run out. Running out of paint stinks, and you have to remix it, and it takes a lot of time. This is one of the biggest things that I can emphasize is just mix a bunch of paint. Mix as much as you can. I know you want to be stingy, but I guarantee it will make you happier overall. So I'm going to use alizarin. And let's see, you just use it see how small the amount was that I put on here? It's going to have a huge influence on this. Look at that. Oh my gosh, so pink now. This may be, it's not too bad actually. I'm going to cool it down just a little bit with some ultramarine. See, I say that ultramarine, the Williamsburg ultramarine has a lot of pigment density, but when you compare it to the alizarin, it's actually not that much. It's pretty strong. So this is not a bad starting point for my light. And I'm actually cutting this into a couple of areas. Get that mixture out of here. Because I want to be able to minimize some of these and maximize others. So, again, I'm wiping this off directly off my knife. If I'm using it for anything else, might as well use it. I'm going to add a tiny bit of Gamsol to thin this out here. And this is super bright, so this is going to be like the brightest areas. Ooh, oh, that looks so bright, so I'm going to tone it down just a bit. I'm going to take this because it's mixed with some cool stuff already. Oh yeah, much better. See how much, oh yeah, that's definitely more like what I wanted. So, I'm trying to put these in more or less where they're going to go. There's a lot, with roses there's so much information. I like to simplify it as much as possible, but it is extremely challenging, so. Try to simplify, but it's tough. It's really tough. In fact, you see this with a little more coolness. Yeah. Closer to this. Whoops. Ooh, look at all that blue that came out. No problem. And then, so for example, if this is the brightest part, let's say this is the brightest part of my main rose. The main rose is going to be my focal point. This is my main rose here. Then that means everything else on my canvas should be toned down quite a bit. So what I'll do is I'll take, that's why I separated this. I might take this whole pile and put it over here. And then take one of my neutral background colors and just literally, I'm going to try to make that get so much closer to the background color that it kind of is almost disappearing. If you compare this to this little darker tone. It's not quite there yet. I want to darken it ever so slightly, so I'm going to add a little more alizarin and a lot more ultramarine. I just want it to fade, pardon me, fade into the background. So this will be used for these. So this mixture will be used for the part of the background, flowers. They're going to be much more muted, and they're even going to start darker, because one way to indicate depth is to just push it, push the contrast down. If there's a lot of contrast in the front, take some of that down in the back. And this goes into that rich purpley umber. Though I want to use a lot of this umber to tone it down right, because it's in the background. If I'm toning down other parts, I might not use this umber. And a little green. It's gonna be this area. It's that purpley. I need to put it in here to differentiate it from this rose in the front. So you can see how even just now this looks farther back. And we're going to do the same on this side, because this rose is also not my focal point. However, this one has like a really neat pink spot, so I'm going to add a little more pink into this area. It's an alizarin crimson, that's why I'm using it as my pink here. And then kind of dull it out as it goes up. And finally, this area. Because again, I know I'm working small, so maybe it doesn't matter to you, but I just, for me, I don't want competing areas. I don't like it when, not that I'm good at, not competing them. However, I really don't prefer it when there's like 3 areas with the same contrast and they're in different parts and you just don't know where to look. It's really purpley over here too. But this area is a little warmer. Even their shadow is a little warmer here too. Here, some of this, and then this come up here. A little pinker. And of course we'll work into that. That's kind of what we do. Just want to make sure that it's not competing with the other area. So even when I finish it, it won't be as detailed either. Sorry, as I mentioned, I'm getting over a cold, and so that is what's going on with that. Okay, so now I'm going to start working on my main rose again. A lot of these other light areas here, they have a lot of the influence of this beautiful, rich red color. I'm trying to just paint what I see, but it's very hard to it's very challenging to keep organized in a rose, so I'll just try to follow the petal lines a little bit as much as possible. It's not going to be perfect. I got a shadow a little here anyway. And use this as a former shadow area. Just add some alizarin. Bam. And that alizarin again it's kind of a cooler warm, so it's not gonna overtake the whole cool feeling of this painting that I want. And this has a little bit more of that purple influence coming out this way. And remember, I said that form shadows are soft and cast shadows are hard. So you're going to see a ton of this on the transitions between petals. And I'm trying to lay it in as I see it, but it is not easy. I've got a lot of yellow influence here in this little part right here. So I'm just going to try to indicate that, but I also got to keep it bright enough. Maybe use a little yellow ochre. So much yellow. It's really lovely. Most of the rest of this is very, very cool. So really when you see something that kind of makes it interesting, yeah, go for it. So this here, also this area, it's not quite as bright as the rest, but it has some green. And it's really cool. Come on, green. More here, just under the leaf. And then it goes back to this dark, rich darker. A lot of influence from the bowl down here, so it's going to be like significantly darker. I'm going to steal some of the bowl color. And then it's going to mix on my brush so that you can see it in the painting. Even like super dark down here. Right here. Where that meets shadow. But I still have the rose color on my brush, so when they're going together, it allows it to look like the rose color, but with the bowl in it, instead of just straight up bowl color. And it's mostly just because I'm lazy. I don't do it necessarily on purpose, but hey, it works for me, so. And then this does get duller as it goes out to this side. Trying to mix a lot of everything that I do so that it's, and there's some more warm yellow influence over here. So I don't have to keep remixing. I'm going to do this. That might be a little too much, but we'll see. Pretty strong, but I like it. And since I'm just kind of making everything where I want it to be, I'm going to go back and cut into this so that it's the accurate shape. I have no problem going in and out of the same area over and over again. It does not bother me in the slightest. Correcting doesn't bother me. I'd rather correct it than leave it there and go, why doesn't this look like what I want? Because I didn't correct it. So I'm trying to correct everything as I go along. Making these shapes. I'm going to go ahead and mix myself some darker influence, darker area to use in this center area here. It's actually pretty nice, I think. Let's see if it's too crazy. Yeah, I need a little more. I really want this to look super bright just in here, so that everything else looks less exciting than this area. That's why I'm doing it this way. Cooler influence here. Add some Koreatown. Some coolness here. So you can see I'm really emphasizing this front row. The front rows, and I'm trying to push everything else to the back a little bit. A little more ultramarine here because this is a very cool, the whole thing is just super cool. Right about here, I see some come out a little bit. Real rich color. And then also right back in here. But I already have it kind of rich in here, so. So you can take this as far as you want. Right now, I could probably stop and I'd be decently satisfied, but I probably will take this a little bit further, or I'll come back and I just added some ultramarine because I'm trying to get this light petal in here. I might come back and work on it in another video and just call it a day for this. I want this edge to be a little harder, so I might actually grab my straight flat brush, clean it off. The only reason I didn't use it is because it's not clean. I didn't want to clean it off. So now I will clean it off by using a bunch of Gamsol and paper towels. And then I'll take this, and it was pretty cool in that area. Not quite super bright, but I also have a lot of that pretty glittering in it. I want this edge to be really striking here. You can see how much of a difference that edge is than the one that was here before. And so you can see now it kind of just pops out. And then I'm gonna push back the shadows around it because again, they were done with that flat, or with the round edge brush, which didn't really work for this. For my taste, it's all up to you. If you work well with round edge brush, you please use a round edge brush. I'm not that good at it because I don't have as much practice. But I enjoy using it, so that's why I've been using it. There's actually some transparency caused by this petal casting a shadow here, and then there's some light coming through this part, and then the top of the petals up here. I might actually just just make that brighter top of the petal because it's so pretty. I know that, you know, maybe mine won't be as pretty if I see it in person, but you know, just these little strokes and things like that, they can make a big difference in how your painting looks. And where your eyes fall onto your painting, because you always want to make sure that, like, you know, you're emphasizing the areas you want people to look. And there's a little bit of shadow here. Maybe it's not that bright. There's some under here. And it's a little bluer here as it turns away from this light here. It's a real brightness under there though. Looks really cool. And then there's this other area here that's even darker. And again, I'm just following these petals, because it's really hard to keep track of everything if I don't have something to focus on. And then back to this, I want to cut this in with real emphasize here. And add some of these shadow areas. So let me know what's going on here. Some shadow casting over here. I might just come in with this and yeah. Sometimes I'll do edges, sometimes I don't care too much. In this case, I'm gonna do some, just the amount that I feel like doing. Remember, I like to paint over things over and over and over again, so I'm painting into this rose that I already painted. And I see the background getting more rich and dark as it gets closer to these flowers here. But I don't want to emphasize it too much again. It's not my focal point, so. There's a really dark blue looking shadow here on this rose caused by these guys. So they're casting this shadow onto here. So definitely want to put that in. Doesn't look quite as dark as I thought once I put it on here. Maybe that's a little better. And there's this petal here that's taking up all this space. Again, take it as far as you want. I will end this video soon because I'm pretty satisfied with it. But I'm gonna put in some of these cool white. I love these guys. They're so cool. These little sprays in the background. don't want them crazy in your face or anything, but maybe just a little bit. Nothing crazy. And there's one over here. And there's a couple coming off in the back here. Nothing insane. And then I may refine this bowl before I finish this video. So let me go ahead and, I already kind of used all my bowl. So I'm going to mix a little more of that ivory black with the burnt umber, because that's what we used to make this bowl color. And I'm going to put in some more details here because I covered up all my exciting spots on here. Unintentionally, but it happens a lot. Especially if I really liked it, I usually end up accidentally covering over it. I'm like, oh no, they do that all over again. It's fine though, because if you did it once, you can do it again. And it's much easier the second time. Much easier the second time. And then there's some shadow coming down here on this leaf. And it fades off. Even though it's a cast shadow, it kind of fades off. More of this right here. I'm going to emphasize that fade off. That's pretty cool. Ivory black. I'm going to take those together just to make it exciting right here. See how exciting that made it? I like contrast, but I like to reserve everything for the very end so that it's just like, oh look, oh how exciting. How fun. So I'm going to make it like real dark, rich black to stick in here. Really just makes it more believable. So this beige. I may just make this kind of fall into this area because I don't want to emphasize it too much. Okay, so I think this is every time I say that I think this is as far as I'm going to take it, I end up doing some more. So I need to like stop doing that. And just kind of fill in these little areas here. Okay, this is as far as I'm going to take it. Alright, this time I mean it. So, this is as far as I'm going to take it. This was painting the roses. I'm going to try to show you the actual roses. And then the painting itself. And so, thank you so much for watching. You can find us at LosAngelesAcademyOfArt.com. Feel free to leave a comment or send me an email. I'm always glad to help. With anything you have questions about or anything like that. And then of course always remember one focal point. This rose is my focal point. I didn't overwork the background, I didn't work into any of the other roses, and they're all pushed in the back by having less contrast than my front one. I may take this farther in another video, but this is it for now. I hope you enjoyed, and please come visit us in Koreatown, Los Angeles anytime. We have a schedule on the website and you can find us here. Have a good one.